The tunnels. I shouldn't be here. I shouldn't be posting this. But someone else has to know. Someone needs to find what I found before they silence me. I spent 12 years in the army. Recently got out after my last contract ended. Most of my career, I was a 31B, military police. I've worked with border patrol, infantry, joint ops, you name it. I won't pretend I'm some kind of badass. If anything, I'm a coward. That's why I forced myself into the worst situations, to see if I could handle them. But nothing prepared me for what I saw beneath Texas. I was stationed along the border for over a year and a half. Officially, I was there for security, but it didn't take long to realize there was more to it. The tunnels, dozens of them, sealed off with thick metal doors, some welded shut, others guarded 24/7. Anytime I asked, I got the same answer: none of your business. Your job is to keep people out. At first, I let it go. Orders are orders. But then weird things started happening. We'd find scattered clothes in the desert. No bodies, just blood-streaked fabric, like the people wearing them had melted into the ground. One night, a squad mate swore he heard screaming from one of the sealed tunnels, faint, muffled, like it was buried deep. Command told him it was the wind. Then people started disappearing. Not just immigrants, soldiers. Rodriguez went first. No explanation, no report. One day, he was just gone. A few weeks later, it was Carter. Then Gwen. When I asked, I got blank stares, mumbled excuses. No one wanted to talk about it. Then one night, I saw it for myself. There was an entrance I'd never noticed before, half buried in sand, hidden in the dark. The door was slightly open, just enough for a sliver of light to seep out. I should have walked away, but my gut told me this was my only chance. I went in. The tunnel spiraled downward for miles. The deeper I went, the warmer it got. The walls weren't like normal tunnels. There was no rock, no dirt, just something smooth, damp, organic. The air was thick with a sickly sweet stench, like decayed fruit left to liquefy in the heat. Then I reached the lab. Tables covered in medical instruments, computers running incomprehensible data streams, tubes of thick, dark fluid pulsing rhythmically, like veins stretched across the ceiling. And then, at the center of it all, the skin. It stretched across the tunnel walls like an infected wound made of human leather, wrinkled and slick, but somehow dry, like something between beef jerky and bloated, waterlogged flesh. The worst part was the texture. It was pockmarked with countless circular holes, like a lotus pod, each cavity wet and twitching, pulsing as if it were breathing. Some of the holes were empty, dark and bottomless. Others excreted a thin, translucent mucus that dripped in long, stringy tendrils, congealing in thick, reeking puddles along the floor. In the beans, they weren't separate creatures. They were part of it. Hundreds of bulbous, hairless, flesh-colored sacs, embedded in the skin like tumors wedged inside the lotus-like holes. Some were shriveled and empty, sagging like deflated cysts. Others twitched, convulsing with something alive inside. The biggest ones pulsed in slow, jerking spasms, stretching, tearing, until I saw one hatch. The sac split wetly, like overcooked meat bursting from its casing. A thing flopped out, slick with yellowish fluid, twitching. It was featureless, no eyes, no mouth, just pale, wrinkled skin. And then it twisted, limbs unfolding from deep within its mass, stretching in unnatural, bone-cracking angles. Then it crawled, not like an animal, not even like an insect. Its limbs bent the wrong way, moving in sharp, disjointed jerks, but somehow too smooth at the same time, like something fast-forwarded on a broken VHS tape. It didn't make a sound, didn't hesitate. It climbed across the skin, toward the bodies, and God help me, the lotus-like holes opened wider, stretching like hungry mouths, pulling the creature back inside. It sank into the flesh as if it had never been separate from it at all. I ran. I don't remember getting out, just the feeling of something watching me. The walls seemed to close in, the air thickening, pressing against my skin. The moment I breached the surface, the door was closed, sealed, like it had never been open. I tried to report it. No one would listen. My CO laughed, said I was stressed, told me to take a break. That's when I knew I wasn't supposed to see it. I left the army a month later. Since then, I've been looking for answers, but the more I dig, the more people disappear. If you're reading this, I need you to understand, this is real. It's happening, and they're still feeding it.